Welcome to this training on differentiation within Canvas, where we're going to explore mastery paths and prerequisites within modules to allow students to move on to material that's suited best for them. Okay, so first we're going to look at mastery paths, and within my course you can see where I've already incorporated mastery paths and some of the assignments that are connected to those mastery paths. So what I like to do with mastery paths is start with generally a quiz, but you could choose an assignment as well, something that's going to say, okay, based on the points they get on this quiz or assignment, they're going to be pointed in one of three directions, maybe to extend, to practice a little more, or to get some remediation. Okay, that's generally how mastery paths work. So how do I do that? First, find the quiz or assignment that I want to do. Note, I like quizzes because they're automatically scored. It would point students directly to the next thing without having to wait for you to grade anything. Remember that as I do this, if I get a little fast, you can pause and repeat anything that I say, so take advantage. Okay, so under angle congruence, this quiz, I'm going to go to the triple dot and I'm going to click mastery paths, and that's going to take me into the mastery paths. Now, it's also available within a tab under these quizzes, and that's where you would see that as well, this tab that I'm referring to. So it automatically splits up the available points, which in this case is 5 for this quiz, total available is 5, into 3 categories. I'm going to change this. You can change these kind of benchmarks, if you will, I'm going to say if they get between 4.5 and 5, they want the extension stuff. If they get between 3 and 4.5, they need a little more practice. If they get less than 3, I want to point them to some remediation resources. So all I have to do to add in these mastery pathway materials is click into the plus box beside each piece here. I'm going to start with the remediation portion. So I'm going to click plus, and I'm going to give my students some assignment options to remediate a little bit. Learning more about angles, okay, or more about the Pythagorean theorem. And so I'm going to add both those options here. So as I have it standing right now, they could do this, they have to do this and that. See the and sign. If I want to give them a choice, I can say this or that. By clicking the and sign, it changes into or. Okay, so students would have to, if they've received below 3, complete either this or that. All right, what about the additional practice? So let's see, under additional practice, maybe again, I'll give them a page potentially on naming angles as something they would like to do. And I'm also going to add in another piece on assignments that I would like them to check in their understanding, draw and measure 20 angles. Okay, so this is a piece that I'm going to have them do. And they would do both of these, at least the way I've had it set up right now. That's the additional practice. If we're talking extension, maybe I just give students that one extension piece that I have here available. I did have an extension piece. Where did it go? I could swear to you I have an extension piece. Where is it? Enrichment. Sorry, used the wrong term. Tripped myself up. Okay, so add in the enrichment piece into this, and then now students can do that for enrichment. I could also give them more options. I like to give those kids who are extending or enriching a few more options, so maybe you would want to do that. I'm not going to do that right now, but that's basically how this is set up. So then I click save, and this is ready for a mastery path. So I click save, and mastery paths, kaboom, ready. All right. So after students take this quiz, they'll be directed to those things based on the results. Pretty neat. The other thing I wanted to show you is how to use modules and give kind of prerequisites before certain things are available for students. So I'm going to go into some of my modules, hopefully, if they load. Here we go. And I'm going to go to Chapter 4. And before I want students to be able to access any of the old Chapter 4 materials, what I'd like them to do is complete the Chapter 3 materials. It's very important. So all I do here is I click on the triple dot by module, and I click to edit this module. Okay. Now you can choose to lock it until a particular date, but if you want students to be able to move ahead into this, not based on date, but based on their completion of Chapter 3, that's not really the option you want. So I'm going to not do that. Instead, I'm going to say the prerequisites for this module are the completion of Chapter 3. Okay, you can also add more if you want. Completion of Chapter 2 and so on. Okay, so now it begs the question, what does it mean to complete a module, right? You can define that within each module under the requirements. So I'm not going to do this in Chapter 4 right now because nothing depends on completing Chapter 4, but things do depend on completing Chapter 2 and 3. I've already set those in Chapter 2, but I'm going to show you how to set those requirements for Chapter 3. So update this module. Yes, I would like to relock the modules for any students in my course. Sure, why not? Know that's going to change things for students if you do that partway through. Don't do that. So note that the prerequisites are listed here. And here we go. I'm going to go up to Chapter 3 and I'm going to make there be some requirements on Chapter 3. So I'm going to say Chapter 3, students must complete all of these requirements. Okay, so I'm going to say they need to do the following. They can view this first PowerPoint. They can, under the assignments, I'm going to have them complete a couple of these here. So they need to submit that assignment. Maybe they need to get a certain score on a particular assignment, score at least 15 out of 20 on that one before they, anyway, you can see how robust this is. Allows me to make all sorts of options. They can just have this one marked as done. They can, so anyway, there's just all sorts of options between viewing, submitting, scoring at least, and marking is done. Lots of options for students. You can say they need to complete all of those requirements. You can even have them do that in the order that you set here if you'd like. Okay, I'm not going to do that, but you could. Or you could say they must complete at least one of these requirements. So maybe you give them 4 options, and you need to do at least one of those to say that they've got it, kind of thing. That's all options. I'm going to say they need to complete all 4 of these things in order to complete and update my module. Okay, sure, continue. So it says complete all the items that are, and you'll see those are indicated in a lot of cases. Like this one says score at least 15 now. This one says it needs to be submitted, it needs to be viewed. Okay, it kind of gives these. This one needs to be marked as done. It gives those indications for the students as well of what needs to be done there to move on. Once they've done that, then Chapter 4 will become unlocked for them. So kind of neat, right? You can really set up your course to be very differentiated, very self-paced, so that nobody's confused by anything. They get the prerequisites before they need to move on, or they get the needed personalization that they need using Mastery Paths. Lots of options there for you. So certainly play with this a little bit. You'll want to ask for help if you need anything, but this gives you the basics into both options of differentiation in Mastery Paths and in prerequisites for modules.